Good morning. Welcome to Morning Special. 여러분 안녕하세요. 6월 27일 목요일 최수진의 Morning Special입니다. There was a time when you were expected to travel overseas to learn the traits of a global leader. Well, now students from all over the world come here to Korea to take part in global leadership programs. In fact, 4,000 university students will gather in Busan and Muju next month to do just that. 전 세계 50개국 대학생 4천여 명이 부산과 무주에서 모여 글로벌 리더로서 자질을 배우는 월드 문화 캠프가 열립니다. 국제청소년연합은 오는 7월 7일부터 18일까지 부산과 전북 무주를 비롯한 전국 주요 도시에서 축제를 연다고 어제 밝혔는데요. 캠프 기간 동안 리더스 컨퍼런스와 명사 특강뿐만 아니라 참가국의 전통 춤과 공연, K-pop, 그리고 한식 체험 등 다양한 국제 교류 프로그램이 진행된다고 하는데요. 글로벌 감각을 익히기 위해 무조건 해외로 나가던 시절이 있었는데 22년째 우리나라에서 이어지고 있는 월드 문화 캠프를 보니 이제 우리나라도 명실공히 국제 문화 교류의 장이라 할 수 있겠습니다. With that in mind, let me give you a quiz question. Cultural exchanges provide an opportunity to look at the world from a different blank. 1번, a different angle. 2번, a different 아이고. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있습니다. 여러분의 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. Okay, then let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
Trade talks between U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are expected to dominate the upcoming G20 summit.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령과 시진핑 중국 국가주석의 정상회담이 G20 정상회의 마지막 날인 29일 이루어질 예정입니다.
President Moon Jae-in and his Chinese counterpart are set to hold bilateral talks today ahead of the G20 summit.
문재인 대통령이 오는 27일부터 G20 정상회의 참석을 위해 일본 오사카를 방문하는 가운데 이를 계기로 개최되는 중국 등 7개국과의 양자회담 일정이 확정됐습니다.
Thousands of protesters rallied in Georgia for the sixth consecutive day yesterday demanding the resignation of the Interior Minister.
조지아에서 반러시아 시위가 어제 엿새째 이어졌습니다.
U.S. First Lady Melania Trump spokeswoman Stephanie Grisham has been named as President Trump's new press secretary and communications director.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령의 신임 백악관 대변인에 부인 멜라니아 여사의 대변인이 전격 발탁됐습니다.
Vietnam has culled nearly 10% of its pig herd to contain an African swine fever outbreak.
아프리카 돼지열병이 베트남 전역을 휩쓸면서 전체 사육돼지의 10%에 육박하는 돼지가 폐사하거나 살처분됐습니다.
Government data released Wednesday show the number of births in South Korea fell to an all-time monthly low in April.
지난 4월 출생아가 26,100명으로 집계돼 월별 최소 기록을 37개월째 이어갔습니다. And for the headlines and much more, I'm joined by 월터 선생님. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you as well, Sue, and as always, a very, I'll say, colorful good morning to our listeners and any viewers out there as well. Ironically, neither of us is particularly colorful today, but the reason I say that, I saw a massive gigantic rainbow as I was driving in to the studio this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wonder if any of our listeners saw that.
Well, I imagine, I hope that they did because it really, really was big. Like, it wasn't so thick, but it was just massive in its arc.
Oh, I love seeing rainbows. I haven't seen one in a while, though.
This is the first that I can remember seeing probably in years, honestly, in person. I've seen many people posting their own photos, but it was great to see. It put me in a great mood, and therefore I wish a colorful good morning to everybody.
Indeed. I'm talking about being colorful. This event that's going to take place next month is very diverse and colorful in that people from all across the world gather together here in Korea.
4,000 students.
Yes, from 50 countries.
Think of the logistics there of moving those 4,000 students around from Busan to Muju. 4,000 students.
It's going to be a week each. So, yeah, there's going to be quite a lot of foreigners in each of these different cities.
A lot of buses, a lot of logistics involved in that, even if it is broken down into smaller groups.
Sure, absolutely. And it sounds really exciting. I wonder if any of our listeners will be taking part in that. Let us know.
Definitely.
자, 그리고 여러분이 방금 들으신 헤드라인은 모닝 스페셜 홈페이지 헤드라인 다시 듣기에서 무료로 들으실 수 있습니다. 많은 이용 바랍니다. Let's go over the headlines.
Headline number 1. Trade talks between U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are expected to dominate the upcoming G20 summit.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령과 시진핑 중국 국가주석의 정상회담이 G20 정상회의 마지막 날인 29일 이루어질 예정입니다.
Right. The Korean headline actually mentions my first point here that the two leaders are expected to meet on the final day of the event. However, the expectations surrounding that meeting from most experts, pundits, and most parties are very quite low, actually. Some of the quotes that I've read are calling this a major event with minor expectations. One article worded it as rock bottom expectations, meaning it could not be lower. Really few people are expecting any kind of substantial agreement to come from this.
Right. I think at best we're going to see a truce of sorts between the two sides.
Yeah, that's a good word. There was a gentleman by the name of Scott Kennedy, a U.S.-China expert at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. He said exactly that. At best, we could see what he called a superficial agreement to halt further escalation of the trade war and perhaps an agreement to just resume negotiations.
네, G20 정상회의를 통해서 많은 나라 정상들이 모이지만 그중에서도 미국과 중국 간의 정상회담이 가장 주목을 받고 있습니다. 세계 1, 2위의 경제 대국이기 때문이죠. 근데 지금 무역 전쟁을 벌이고 있어요. 근데 이 무역 전쟁의 향방에 따라서 세계 경제에 미치는 영향이 상당할 수 있기 때문에 모두 주목을 하고 있습니다. 미국 월스트리트의 투자은행이나 리서치 업체들은 이 무역 협상에 일단은 휴전이 이루어질 것으로 그렇게 내다보고 있고요. 스위스 금융기업 EBS 같은 경우에는 미중 무역 협상의 판이 만약에 깨진다면 글로벌 경기 침체에 준하는 그런 성장세 둔화가 닥칠 것으로 예상을 하고 있습니다.
Yeah, some potentially large repercussions there if things go worse. However, if things go as most people expect at least to have an agreement to resume negotiations, then perhaps we're in for a little bit calmer weather. Speaking of resuming negotiations, U.S. and Chinese officials have been speaking over the phone in the days leading up to the two-day summit. However, even those discussions, now that's not Presidents Xi and Trump, that's the negotiation officials. However, even those telephone conversations have been said to have yielded little more than an agreement to keep communicating.
Right. Well, the G20 summit will take place on the 28th and 29th, which is tomorrow and Saturday. And in related news, let's look at headline number 2.
President Moon Jae-in and his Chinese counterpart are set to hold bilateral talks today ahead of the G20 summit.
문재인 대통령이 오늘부터 G20 정상회의 참석을 위해 일본 오사카를 방문하는데요. 이를 계기로 개최되는 중국 등 7개국과의 양자회담 일정이 확정됐습니다.
Yeah, the news comes to us by way of Changhua Day saying that the bilateral meeting between Presidents Moon and Xi is scheduled to start today. That is one day ahead of the official opening of that G20 summit. The time that I've seen in reports is later today at 5:30 p.m. In those talks with Xi, President Moon is expected to be briefed on the results of President Xi's summit with Kim Jong-un in Pyongyang, in Pyongyang last week. We do also know that President Moon will be meeting several other world leaders throughout the G20. I believe the Indian, Indonesian, and Russian leaders on Friday, as well as 4 other world leaders throughout the event, totaling 7.
네, 그렇습니다. 오늘 시진핑 중국 국가주석과의 양자회담이 있을 예정입니다. 이 정상회담을 통해서 이제 교착 상태인 북미 간의 그 비핵화 대화 재개를 위한 협력 방안을 논의할 예정이라고 하고요. 한편 문 대통령은 내일 나렌드라 모디 인도 총리, 또 블라디미르 푸틴 러시아 대통령, 그리고 조코 위도도 인도네시아 대통령과 각각 정상회담을 갖습니다. 그 외에도 아르헨티나, 네덜란드, 그리고 캐나다 3개국 정상과도 회담을 가질 예정입니다.
And we do also have news in regards to who President Moon Jae-in will not be meeting in summits, and that is the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. There are several reports of that being confirmed not to be taking place. However, South Korea has made its stance clear that they are open to having such a meeting, even going so far as to have requested one, but that request was seemingly snubbed from the Japanese side. Nevertheless, South Korea has said that even if no agreement has been yet made to have a meeting, if Japan should request one even during the G20 summit, that South Korea would be open to doing that.
네, 그렇습니다. G20 정상회의가 일본에서 열리죠. 하지만 한일 정상회담은 이번에 열리지 않게 됐다고 청와대가 밝혔습니다. 설명으로는 이제 우리는 언제나 정상회담을 할 준비가 돼 있다라는 청와대 설명이 있었어요. 하지만 일본이 이번에 준비가 되지 않았다 이렇게 밝혔습니다. Okay, let's move on to our third headline.
Thousands of protesters rallied in Georgia for the 6th consecutive day yesterday, demanding the resignation of the interior minister.
조지아에서 반러시아 시위가 어제 엿새째 이어졌습니다.
So as the headline mentions, the protesters are demanding, among other things, that is not their sole demand, but they are demanding the dismissal of the interior minister there, who they accuse of using excessive force to break up the sort of original demonstrations that started back 6 days ago now. Those original demonstrations started over a Russian lawmaker who had sat in the Georgian parliamentary speaker's seat while addressing a council of deputies from that predominantly Orthodox Christian countries.
Right, in Russian, of course, which angered many
Yes.
people. 어제 조지아 수도 티블리시 의사당 앞에서는요, 야권 지지자 등 수천 명이 모여서 정부의 야당 대표 체포에 항의했다고 그렇게 외신은 전했습니다. 이번 시위는 이달 20일 날 시작이 됐었죠. 러시아 하원 의원이 조지아 의회 의장석에서 러시아어로 연설을 하는 모습에 조지아인의 반러 감정이 폭발하면서 비롯됐습니다.
The protesters have also been angered by the announcement that an opposition lawmaker is facing prosecution over these anti-government protests that again started now 6 days ago, are in their 6th day.
네, 그렇습니다. 조지아 시위로 인해서 이제 시위자들이 체포가 되는 일들이 발생했는데 특히 야당 대표가 체포되는 것에 대해서는 시위자들이 크게 항의를 하는 모습도 외신을 통해서 전해졌습니다. All right, and let's move on to our next headline.
Headline number 4, U.S. First Lady Melania Trump's spokeswoman, Stephanie Grisham, has been named as President Trump's new press secretary and communications director.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령의 신임 백악관 대변인에 부인 멜라니아 여사의 대변인이 전격 발탁됐습니다.
So news of this change came, as it often does these days, via Twitter and a tweet, but this time the tweet was coming from the First Lady herself. Her tweet read, "I am pleased to announce that Stephanie Grisham will be the next press secretary and communications director. She's been with us since 2015, and the president and I can think of no better person to serve the administration and our country. Excited to have Stephanie working for both sides of the White House."
네. 그 First Lady의 업무를 관장하는 쪽이 백악관의 동관이거든요. East Wing이라고 하죠. 그 다음에 대통령 집무실은 West Wing, 서관에 있어요. 그래서 한마디로 이제 대변인이 East Wing에서 West Wing으로 간 그런 모습입니다.
Yeah, that's exactly what the First Lady meant in saying both sides of the White House. So this means that Stephanie Grisham will literally be on both sides. The East Wing, which is more closely associated with the official duties of the First Lady, as well as the new duties now coming into her job as the press secretary and communications director for President Trump, which sees her, of course, working in the West Wing. In addition to that, President Trump has slightly altered those job duties before Grisham takes over, so her duties now are said to include a larger scope of responsibility than that of her predecessor, Sarah Sanders, and the level of responsibility is one that is, as of yet, unprecedented in the Trump administration.
네, 트럼프 대통령은요, 이달 말 물러나는 세라 샌더스 백악관 대변인 후임에 이렇게 멜라니아 여사의 대변인을 임명했다고 외신이 보도했습니다. 그래서 아마 이제 두 가지 역할을 다 하게 될 것 같아요. First Lady's spokeswoman and also the President's spokeswoman 이런 역할들을 다 하게 될 것 같아서 unprecedented 이런 말씀 해주셨습니다. 전례가 없다 이런 말씀이시네요.
Yes, indeed. It probably also noteworthy that Ms. Grisham will be accompanying President Trump in her new capacity on his trip to Japan and Korea this week.
Okay.
So she is hitting the ground running, as they say. However, she really is no stranger to the White House. She had served as deputy press secretary in the West Wing again during Sean Spicer's tenure.
네. 초대 대변인이었던 이제 숀 스파이서 그리고 샌더스 대변인에 이어서 트럼프 행정부에 들어서는 이번에 세 번째 백악관 대변인이 되겠습니다. Moving on, let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 5. Vietnam has culled nearly 10% of its pig herd to contain an African swine fever outbreak.
아프리카 돼지열병이 베트남 전역을 휩쓸면서 전체 사육돼지의 10%에 육박하는 돼지가 폐사하거나 살처분됐습니다.
So the African swine fever had been first detected in Vietnam back in February. Since then, it has spread to farms in some 60 of that country's 63 provinces. Experts do expect it to eventually reach all 63 provinces. In addition, the earlier outbreaks had been mostly at small household farms, but now the swine fever, the African swine fever, has started to occur at larger industrial sites, including a very well-known farm, the Phu Son Farm in Dong Nai province near Ho Chi Minh City.
네, 베트남은요, 세계 7대 돼지 사육 국가입니다. 그래서 3천만 마리에 달하는 돼지를 사육하는데요. 이 중 280만 마리 이상이 폐사하거나 살처분됐다고 베트남 당국이 밝혔습니다. 지난 24일 현재 63개 대도시 또 지방성 가운데서 60곳에서 이 African swine fever가 발생했다고 전했습니다.
Nationwide, it's been reported that Vietnam has culled more than 2.8 million pigs since that outbreak. That's up slightly from 2.5 million a week ago. Looking at weather forecasts, heavy rains in southern Vietnam are expected to spread the virus even further.
네, 아프리카 돼지열병은요, 돼지과에 속한 동물만 감염되는 바이러스성 전염병입니다. 주로 감염된 돼지의 분비물에 의해서 전파된다고 합니다. Let's check our final headline.
Headline number 6. Government data released Wednesday show the number of births in South Korea fell to an all-time monthly low in April.
지난 4월 출생아가 26,100명으로 집계돼 월별 최소 기록을 37개월째 이어갔습니다.
Yes, indeed. So the actual number reported here, 26,100 babies born in April of 2019. That's down from 27,800 babies in the same month of 2018. That represents a drop of 6.1% from that year earlier date. And it is, I think, significantly the lowest number of newborns reported for any April all the way back to 1981 when the Statistics Agency started compiling this data.
네, 4월 출생아 수가요. 1981년 월별 통계 집계를 시작한 이후 이 4월 통계로는 가장 적었습니다. Could you give us maybe some more facts related to this story?
Well, yes, indeed. We're seeing not only a drop in the number of children born, but as one might expect, also a drop in the number of marriages. That number came to just 20,000 in April. That, again, is the lowest for any April since, again, going all the way back to 1981. And that's a 2.9% drop in the number of marriages since April of last year. We've also seen increase in divorces at 9.2%, those numbering 9,500 divorces, again, in the month of April.
네, 통계청이 어제 발표한 2019년 4월 인구 동향 데이터인데요. 그 혼인 건수 같은 경우 마찬가지로 4월에 2만 건이었는데요. 1년 전보다 600건 감소한 수치였고요. 이 수치도 마찬가지로 1981년 이후 4월 기준 최저치였습니다. Well, those are our headlines. Let's now remind our listeners of the quiz.
It would be my pleasure to do just that. Today's quiz. Cultural exchanges provide an opportunity to look at the world from a different blank. Is that number one, a different angle, or number two, a different 아이고?
짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 1부에서는 추첨을 통해 총 5분께 비타민 C 세트 보내드리겠습니다. We'll be right back after a song break, and this is Green Day singing Basket Case.